Hello, my name is Jose, and I am someone who has already reached 90 years of age. For much of my adult life, I have struggled with a problem that many of you are well aware of: high blood sugar levels. It's not something that just appears overnight. It's a process that builds up slowly, silently, and often one doesn't want to recognize it until the symptoms start to become evident. I experienced it firsthand, and I can tell you that understanding the magnitude of the problem was, at first, overwhelming. I remember the day I realized that something had to change. I had a routine checkup, and the results were a direct blow. My sugar level was dangerously high, and my doctor didn't hesitate to warn me about the risks of not taking immediate action. The word diabetes appeared in my medical notes, and with it came the fears: problems with my eyesight, kidney damage, heart risks, and an overall sense that my health could deteriorate quickly if I didn't act. It was a moment of clarity, but also of fear. I understood that I could no longer ignore my body or rely solely on the habits I had followed up until then. For many years, I tried traditional methods to control my sugar. I followed strict diets, eliminated certain foods I liked, and worked hard to count every calorie and carbohydrate I consumed. I also tried several prescribed medications, and at times, even insulin injections. I won't deny that there were temporary improvements, but none of these solutions were sustainable. The daily routine became complicated, the side effects of some medications were bothersome, and despite all my efforts, the sugar levels continued to fluctuate in worrying ways. I started to feel that, at this age, I might never have real control over my health. It was then that, almost by chance, I discovered something that completely changed my perspective. A small piece of advice, something so simple that it seemed almost insignificant: a teaspoon every morning. It wasn't an expensive medicine or a miracle supplement sold on TV. It was something natural, simple, accessible, and with consistency, it started to make a real difference in my life. At first, I was skeptical. After all, I had tried so many methods unsuccessfully that it was hard to believe something so simple could work. But curiosity and desperation led me to try it, and the results were surprising. What's most impressive about this trick is not just that it helped regulate my sugar, but that it also improved other aspects of my life. I felt more energetic, more alert, and I began to enjoy daily activities that had once seemed exhausting. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I had some control, that despite being 90 years old, I could still positively influence my health. And I want to share this secret with you so you can learn how to control your sugar in a simple way, improve your overall well-being, and above all, regain a sense of independence and vitality that you might have thought was lost. In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through everything you need to know about this trick, how to apply it correctly, what to expect in the first few weeks, and what precautions you should take. It's not magic or an instant miracle. It's a method based on consistency, knowledge of the body, and small habits that can have a huge impact. If you've ever felt that your efforts to control your sugar aren't yielding results, or that traditional methods are too complicated or exhausting, this video is for you. I assure you that by the end, you'll understand that even at any advanced age, there are always ways to make smart decisions that benefit your health. Before we continue, I'd like you to interact with me for a moment. I want to get to know you a little better because this is not just my story, it's yours too. That's why I ask you, how old are you and where are you watching this video from? Write it in the comments right now. I love reading them and learning about your experiences because every story is unique and we can all learn from each other. Also, your comments help me continue creating content that is useful and relevant for people like you. Now, if you're ready, let's dive into this journey of sugar control and health improvement. I'll show you how a simple teaspoon every morning can make a difference and how small changes, applied consistently, can transform your life. Even if you think it's already too late, stay tuned to every detail because some tips I'll share are easy to overlook, but they have a huge impact when applied correctly. This video will guide you from introducing this trick to integrating it into your daily routine so you can experience the same results I've had, step by step, day after day. For many years, I lived with a silent enemy: high sugar. At first, it was just a number in my blood test that I didn't pay much attention to. Over time, however, I began to notice how my body was sending me clear signals that something wasn't right. I woke up tired, despite having slept the entire night, felt constant fatigue during the day, and even simple tasks like walking around the house or climbing a flight of stairs became exhausting. My vision, which had always been good, started to become blurry, and I often had to squint to read something up close. My digestion also started to change, and I felt heavy and sluggish after meals. Each symptom felt like a reminder that my body was struggling and that I needed to pay attention before it was too late. I remember doctor's visits that became part of my routine. I tried different medications, from pills to injections, and each one promised to regulate my sugar levels. However, the results were always temporary or inconsistent. In some cases, the side effects were bothersome: dizziness, stomach discomfort, even mood swings. Plus, the medication schedules and dietary restrictions made my daily life more complicated. I tried sticking to strict diets, eliminating carbohydrates and sugars, measuring every portion, and writing down everything I ate. But even with all that constant effort, the results were disappointing. The numbers went up and down, sometimes for no apparent reason, and the feeling of losing control grew stronger every day. I thought that at my age, I wouldn't be able to have control over my health. At 90 years old, I felt like traditional methods weren't enough, and that my body had reached a point where nothing seemed to work. I was frustrated because I wanted to enjoy my days without constantly worrying about the numbers on a sheet or the effects of the medications. There were times when I wondered if I had made wrong decisions throughout my life, if neglecting my diet or not exercising enough in previous years had condemned my health to this endless struggle. The anxiety over my high sugar levels mixed with the sense of vulnerability that comes with age, and I found myself trapped between fear and hopelessness. But despite all these difficulties, I never lost hope. I knew there had to be a way to regain control, something beyond strict diets and medications. The key was to understand my body and look for simple, effective alternatives that I could incorporate into my daily routine. It was during this period of searching and reflecting that I discovered something surprisingly simple that changed my life. A teaspoon every morning that began to make a difference, gradually but steadily. This solution not only impacted my sugar levels, but also my energy, my mood, and my overall sense of well-being. In the next segments, I want to take you through the entire process, from the first days of implementing this trick to the changes I started to notice in my body and in my daily life. You'll see how something so simple can be a turning point, even for someone 90 years old who thought they had lost control over their health. And most importantly, I want you to understand that it's never too late to make decisions that improve your well-being, no matter your age. After years of struggling with my sugar levels, trying all kinds of medications and strict diets with no lasting results, I felt exhausted and frustrated. I was convinced that, at 90 years old, control over my health was almost impossible. It was then that, during my personal research, something caught my attention. A casual comment during a conversation with an old friend who was also dealing with high sugar. He told me about a surprisingly simple method he had started to implement and how his well-being had improved significantly. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it. My experience had taught me that quick fixes rarely work and that any change had to be backed by evidence. However, that comment sparked my curiosity. I began to research on my own, reviewing books on health and nutrition for older adults, scientific articles, and forums of people sharing their experiences with high sugar. What I discovered was fascinating. There were simple, natural, and little-known approaches that could have a significant impact, especially when incorporated into the daily routine consistently. Many of them contrasted with the traditional methods I had followed for years, those that required strict planning, multiple doses of medication, or diets that were difficult to maintain. The idea that something so small and accessible could make a difference intrigued me, and I decided to try it for myself. That's when I found the key. A teaspoon on an empty stomach. A simple gesture that could be incorporated into my daily routine without complications. I don't want to reveal yet what it contains, because before that, it's important for you to understand the context and the mindset with which I introduced it into my life. At first, I felt skeptical. After so many failed attempts, the idea that such a small action could impact my health seemed too good to be true. I thought about all the days I had spent on complex medications, counting carbohydrates and measuring every food portion, and I wondered if I was really willing to trust something so simple. However, the simplicity of the method appealed to me. No strict schedules, no complicated recipes, no severe side effects. Just a small, everyday act with real potential. My first impressions after incorporating it were modest. There was no radical change immediately, but I did notice slight adjustments in my morning energy and a feeling of lightness that I hadn't experienced in a long time. There were days when I doubted, wondering if I was being too optimistic. But soon, I realized that consistency would be key. This small gesture, done every day, could be much more powerful than any complicated intervention I had tried before. I was surprised to reflect on how ironic it was. For years, I had searched for complex solutions when the answer was in something simple, accessible, and natural. At this stage of discovery, I understood an important truth. Complexity doesn't always guarantee results. Sometimes what our body needs is consistency and something that can be maintained without excessive daily effort. This discovery not only gave me a new tool to control my sugar, but also a shift in perspective about how to approach my health in general. It was no longer about extreme sacrifices or complicated methods. It was about finding what worked practically and sustainably, how it works in the body. When I discovered the trick of the teaspoon on an empty stomach, my curiosity didn't stop at its simplicity. I wanted to understand how it actually worked in my body. At 90 years old, after decades of dealing with high sugar, I had accumulated enough experience and knowledge to distinguish between baseless miracle remedies and methods backed by physiology. That's why I decided to research how this small gesture could influence glucose regulation, daily energy, and digestion. Our body processes glucose through a delicate balance of hormones, with insulin being the main one responsible for transporting sugar from the blood into the cells, where it is converted into energy. As we age, especially in older adults, this system can become less efficient. Sugar spikes become more frequent, followed by drops that cause fatigue, sudden hunger, and a feeling of heaviness. Many traditional medications aim to correct these imbalances through pharmacological doses that force the body to respond, but they often cause side effects such as dizziness, blood pressure changes, or digestive problems. This is where the teaspoon on an empty stomach comes in. This small gesture works naturally, helping to balance glucose levels and improve the sensitivity of the cells to insulin. It doesn't replace the function of the hormone, but it optimizes its effect, allowing sugar to be absorbed more consistently and preventing those spikes and drops that used to leave me exhausted. It also contributes to a more active metabolism, making it easier for nutrients to be processed properly and for energy to remain stable throughout the day. More efficient digestion is also an unexpected benefit. I no longer felt that heaviness after meals, and smaller meals were more satisfying. My experience with traditional medications had been the complete opposite. For years, my routine included pills at different times, strict diets that left me hungry, and a constant feeling of dependency on the pharmacy. There were moments when the side effects were almost worse than the symptoms: dizziness when getting up, mood swings, digestive discomfort, and the sense that my body was fighting more against the remedies than the disease itself. Compared to that, the simplicity and naturalness of this teaspoon seemed almost miraculous, though I knew it wasn't magic, but applied physiology done consistently. I remember my first month using the trick clearly. I started with doubts, writing down my sugar levels every morning, measuring how I felt after each meal, and recording my daily energy. The first week I noticed slight improvements, less hunger mid-morning, and a general sense of lightness. By the second week, the changes became more evident. My energy no longer fluctuated as much. I could walk a little longer without getting tired, and my sugar levels showed a stability I hadn't experienced in years. By the end of the month, the difference was noticeable. I no longer felt trapped by my eating habits or the anxiety caused by glucose spikes. I felt that, For the first time in a long while, I was regaining real control over my body. This first month taught me an important lesson. It's not about immediate results or complicated remedies. Consistency and understanding the body are key. The teaspoon on an empty stomach is not just a gesture, it's a daily reminder that we can still positively influence our health, even at an advanced age. Results week by week, I started my routine with the teaspoon every morning, following the simple instructions I had learned, and quickly began noticing small changes I hadn't expected. The first week was barely noticeable. I felt a little lighter when waking up, and I noticed that my morning energy didn't drop as abruptly as before. It wasn't a dramatic change, but it was enough to give me hope and keep me consistent. By the end of those 7 days, my appetite had stabilized a bit, and the desire to walk in the mornings returned after months of laziness and fatigue. The second week, the changes became more evident. I started to feel less anxious about my sugar levels, and my thoughts about food became calmer. My digestion improved, and I realized I no longer felt that heaviness after meals, something that had been constant before. My sleep also began to normalize. I slept more deeply and woke up feeling really rested. Each morning, I felt a mental clarity I hadn't experienced in years. By the third week, friends and family noticed changes in my mood. I no longer felt as irritable or tired. My energy became more stable throughout the day, allowing me to resume small walks and some social activities I'd stopped doing. I even started enjoying conversations with friends again without feeling exhausted after half an hour. I felt that my independence, which I had long since given up on, was starting to return. By the time I reached the first month, the results were even more striking. My sugar levels began to stabilize naturally without relying on complex medication adjustments or additional injections. I could carry out daily activities that had once seemed burdensome, preparing my meals, walking in the park, reading for hours without feeling drained. The phrase that resonated most in my mind was, "At 90 years old, I never thought something so simple could have such an effect." This small gesture had begun to transform not only my body but also my confidence and emotional well-being. It was proof that even in old age, change is possible when simplicity is combined with consistency. The key to this teaspoon working properly is consistency. It's not about taking it one day yes, one day no. Incorporating it into your daily routine is essential. The ideal dose is clearly stated, always taken on an empty stomach with a glass of room temperature water. This simple rule ensures that the body absorbs its benefits optimally before other foods interfere with digestion and the metabolization of the substance. Another important aspect is avoiding common mistakes. Many people forget to take it in the morning or combine it with meals, which reduces its effectiveness. It's also crucial not to overdo it. More doesn't mean better. Regularity and discipline make the difference, much more than trying to compensate for forgotten days with larger doses. That's why I recommend placing a reminder in the kitchen or next to your toothbrush to make sure your routine doesn't break. Additionally, combining this method with healthy lifestyle habits enhances its effects. Short walks in the morning or evening help improve circulation and metabolism. Staying well hydrated, avoiding sugary drinks and processed sodas is also essential. Eliminating refined sugars and prioritizing natural foods helps stabilize glucose levels and maintain energy throughout the day. Another practical tip is to observe how your body responds. Every person is different, and while the teaspoon is highly effective, minor adjustments based on your physical condition and daily habits can make a difference. Keep track of your feelings, energy, sleep, and sugar levels. This will not only allow you to see clear results, but also keep you motivated to continue. Finally, it's important to remember that it's not just about taking the teaspoon and expecting miracles. Daily discipline, proper nutrition, and light physical activity work together to enhance the effects of this method. With consistency and observation, anyone, even at 90 years old, can see significant improvements in their health and quality of life. After noticing the changes in my own body, I began sharing my experience with close family and friends. My niece decided to try the same trick with her father, who is 85 years old and has a history of high sugar, similar to mine. At first, He was skeptical, just like I was. But after a few weeks, he began to notice improvements in his energy and a more stable control over his glucose. He told me that now he could enjoy walks around the neighborhood without feeling exhausted halfway through. Another example was my neighbor, Mrs. Carmen, who is 82 years old. She suffered from sugar fluctuations that made her feel dizzy and constantly hungry. When she incorporated the teaspoon into her routine, she noticed a difference in less than 15 days. Her sugar levels no longer spiked or dropped as abruptly, and her mood improved. She confessed that, although she initially doubted it, what surprised her the most was how easy it was to integrate it into her daily life. However, not all experiences were the same. Some family members had to adjust the dosage or combine it with changes in diet and light walks to notice more consistent results. This reminded me of something important. Every body responds differently. What worked immediately for me or Carmen might take a little more time for others. The key is consistency and observation, tracking daily energy, sleep, and how you feel each week. The conversations I had with those who tried the trick also left a valuable message. Daily discipline and commitment are more important than the speed of results. Many learn not to expect instant miracles and to appreciate progressive changes. Some shared practical tips. Take the teaspoon always with room temperature water, don't combine it with immediate meals, and make sure it's a part of the morning routine so you don't forget it. Reflecting on all these experiences, I understood that although every body is different and the speed of results varies, the positive trend is consistent. Most people who applied the method noticed stability in their sugar levels, increased energy, and better mood within a few weeks. This simple habit, repeated with consistency, started to show transformative effects on the health of those who decided to try it, confirming that it's never too late to take control of our glucose and well-being. Myths and truths about sugar in old age. When I began this process, I was surrounded by ideas that limited my perception of what was possible. One of the most common myths I heard was, at this age, you can't control your sugar. It's too late. I believed that for years, and as a result, I spent a lot of time not making effective changes. Another frequent myth is that medications and injections are the only option, that there are no natural or simple alternatives to regulate glucose. However, science proves the opposite. Even in old age, the body is still capable of responding to simple changes in routine, eating habits, and daily habits. The key is to support metabolic function and insulin sensitivity, which can be achieved with simple and consistent methods. For example, natural supplements or morning habits like the teaspoon I use work directly on glucose regulation without the side effects of some traditional medications. For years, these myths made me waste time and health. I followed strict diets that didn't work, changed medications, and relied on complex solutions while my sugar remained unstable. Each failed attempt reinforced the belief that my age was limiting me. But by educating myself, reading studies, and trying simple solutions, I understood that old age is not synonymous with inevitability. With knowledge and consistency, it's possible to regain control. An important piece of advice is to learn how to identify reliable information. Today, there's an abundance of contradictory and sensational advice. To know if something is safe and effective, look for evidence backed by research, opinions from accredited health professionals, and proven experiences from real people. Don't be swayed by quick promises or miracle recipes without scientific basis. Recognizing these myths and questioning them was a decisive step in my journey. It allowed me to open up to simple and effective solutions, regain my energy, and improve my health sustainably. Understanding that age is not an obstacle, but a moment to act with intelligence and discipline completely changed my perspective on managing sugar and old age in general. Not controlling sugar is not a minor issue. The consequences can be serious and affect multiple organs. Over time, high glucose levels can damage eyesight, causing everything from blurry vision to severe complications such as diabetic retinopathy, which can even lead to blindness. The kidneys also suffer. The excess sugar overloads their ability to filter and can lead to kidney failure. Additionally, the heart is constantly at risk. Uncontrolled diabetes increases the likelihood of heart attacks, high blood pressure, and circulatory problems that can be life-threatening. I remember my friend Ricardo, who had high sugar for years. He ignored the elevated levels, trusted that the medications would do the job, and didn't change his diet or routine. Over time, he began to feel extreme fatigue, dizziness, and difficulties walking short distances. One day, he suffered a heart attack that took him to the hospital and discovered that his kidneys were already damaged. Ricardo always said, "I never thought this could affect me so quickly." His story taught me that we cannot postpone taking care of our health, no matter our age. Every day we let go by is a day our body suffers and weakens. Ignoring the warning signs is not just negligence, it's putting our independence, quality of life, and years ahead at risk. Every small symptom, from tiredness to excessive thirst, is a sign that the body needs attention. That's why taking responsibility for our health today is crucial. We can't wait for others to do it for us. Our daily choices determine our well-being. The message is clear. Every action counts. Keeping sugar levels under control, adopting simple habits like the morning teaspoon I shared, combined with walks and mindful eating, can make the difference between a full old age and serious complications. Ignoring health not only puts organs at risk, but also autonomy, energy, and the ability to enjoy life with those we love. The final reflection is that it's never too late to act. Age should not be a limit or an excuse. With simple habits, discipline, and patience, it's possible to regain control of our health, improve our quality of life, and feel more independent. The key lies in consistency and in listening to our own body, adapting methods to our personal needs. That said, before making significant changes in routine or diet, it's important to consult with a trusted doctor. Every person has unique circumstances, and professional supervision ensures that results are safe and effective. The trick I shared works as a complement, not a substitute for regular medical care. My message to you is one of hope and action. Don't underestimate your ability to improve your health, even if you're 90 years old or older. Simplicity can be powerful, and every day you decide to care for your body is a day you gain in quality of life. If you like this trick and want to try it, leave a comment with your age and country. Share this video so that more people can benefit from such a simple but transformative habit. Your health is in your hands, and it's never too late to take the first step towards a more stable, active, and full life.